All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be one or two strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon, high of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Lago Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon, high of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Lago Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area. So this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be one or two strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday 98, Sunday 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area. So this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be one or two strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday 98, Sunday 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday 98, Sunday 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, They will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday 98, Sunday 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. It looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Lago Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday 98, Sunday 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be one or two strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area, so this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. Then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side. And because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be our northern zones than the hill country that is favored for just scattered storms as we go through the overnight hours of tonight. So these rain chances include this evening and the overnight. It's about a 30 to 40% northern I-35 corridor to the hill country, then a lower 20% or so for the Austin area. So certainly not everybody getting rain tonight, but some I do think could have some heavy rain and maybe even some hail and strong winds. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. Hit or miss evening storms will continue. Then as we go into the late evening and early overnight, this is 11 o'clock. You can see those clusters trying to move in from the north, mainly over the hill country, northern I-35 corridor, but perhaps bring some rain, especially into northern and northwestern parts of the Austin metro. And it looks like mainly just some rumbles of thunder overnight as this activity weakens. But again, there could be one or two strong to severe storms. It is a hail and damaging wind threat, a very low risk, but not zero, for an isolated tornado and a very low risk for some minor flooding. As we go into tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, then it's going to be mostly sunny and toasty for the afternoon. High of 97, not looking at a rain chance for your Friday. As we go into Labor Day weekend, Saturday, 98, Sunday, 98, just a 20% chance for rain or storms on Sunday. On Memorial Day, a 40% chance for rain and storms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Does not look like a washout, but some storms could be around. A little cooler with smaller rain chances for the middle of next week. All right, it is a hot and sunny afternoon looking out over Round Rock right now, a very tranquil scene, but we are tracking at least a hit or miss storm chance through this evening and also into the overnight hours of tonight. Another day of record heat. 99 was the high for Austin Camp Mabry, breaking the daily record of 98, which was set back in the late 1930s. Normal for this time of the year is 89, so it's not just records. We're about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. Satellite and radar. It is very spotty, but we're starting to get some activity. Let's start here in northwest Travis, where we have this downpour. Looks like this has started to weaken now, but is bringing some rain into Laga Vista out around the Lake Travis area. A new downpour developing closer to the Hamilton Pool area. So this type of hit or miss activity will continue over the next couple of hours ahead of a slightly more widespread storm chance late evening into the overnight. These cells are a little bit more robust out across the hill country. This could be producing some small hail over southern sections of Mason County around Highway 87. And then this cell also on the western side of Gillespie County, or just outside of Gillespie County, west of Harper. That is one to watch for some hail producing, for a hail producing storm as well. Now let's back out the view. There is more activity going on well north of here, and any of these little clusters of storms that develop well to our north will drift down towards us late this evening into tonight. Now, they will be weakening as they get closer to us, but especially as they initially move in, they still could be on the strong side, and because this activity is coming in from the north, it's going to be... All right. Hello, everybody. KVUE Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you. We are kind of kicking off our extended nightly update on the forecast a little bit early here on KVUE Plus and YouTube Live. We've got some big storms going on in the hill country, mainly quiet in the metro, but let me take you to the radar. And you can see we've got all sorts of heavy rain and hail, mainly over Llano County. We have a new cell which is developed in the San Marcos area, southern Hays County. Another severe thunderstorm warning over southeastern Mason County, and then one that is clipping Gillespie County. So we've got a couple things going on, and I just want to give you a heads up. We have a hit or miss storm chance that we are tracking this evening. And then as we go into tonight, it's possible some more storms could work into our area as well. So let's do kind of an inspection here, and we will see what is going on. So let's start here in Llano County. That is where by far the most active weather has been. So you can see we still have this severe thunderstorm warning. There's 1, 2, 3 hail cores in here. So let's stop this, and I want to show you where the first, I guess we'll go into the details of this warning. So here it is. This storm is basically stationary, by the way. So normally I'd say, okay, this is where it is. This is where it's heading. It is where it's heading. This thing is not moving very much. So this is until 7:30 for portions of Burnett. Just this sliver here of far western Burnett, but mainly this is Llano County. Again, this is a storm that has a history of hail, 1 inch to 1.5 inches or so in diameter. So let's get back into the hail tracker here, and we'll show you where these 3 separate hail cores have developed. So here's a closer look at that. Again, one is in the Buchanan Dam area, southern shore of Lake Buchanan. This one was really cranking earlier. Thankfully, it was in a relatively rural spot. I was checking in on the maps. There's still some homes and some roads out there. At least it wasn't like smack dab in the middle of town, though. That one's starting to wind down a little bit. Then a smaller but still relatively potent hail core came right across town there. So y'all give me a heads up if you have any reports as far as letting me know what you guys are seeing out there. So let's go in closer with each of these hail cores, and we'll inspect all of this. So we'll start here in the Lake Buchanan area around Buchanan Dam. So here you can see Stoles and then the Highway 29 corridor, which runs out towards Burnett. So this is going to be hail that's a quarter size, if not a little bit larger. Now we'll go over to the little hail core that moved through town in Llano. This one was not very large, but it is the one that moved through a more populated area. So folks in Llano probably know about this one. So let's zoom in, and I'll show you what is going on with that one. So here it is. Again, it lifted north. This is the one that lifted through town in Llano. And then we've got this one, which was more significant. This like ramped up to 1.5 inches or more in diameter. And now that it's coming down in intensity a little bit. Before I take you out to Mason County, I also want to give you a heads up. We're going to need to keep an eye out on the rainfall totals here. We need the rain, but I do think some at least minor flooding will be a possibility just because these storms are moving so slowly. We'll punch up some of the numbers here just to give you an idea. These are obviously radar estimated totals, so not rain gauges out here. But I did see one rain gauge which was out like in this vicinity that was over 1.5 inches of rain confirmed in a gauge. So that is a radar estimate of 2.6, a radar estimate of 1.9. And obviously most of this rain that falls here in Llano County funnels into the Llano River here, right, which goes down into Lake LBJ, into Lake Marble Falls, and then eventually that finds its way into Lake Travis, which we know needs the rain desperately. So we'll keep an eye out for some minor flooding in this vicinity as well. Okay, so expanding now into Mason County. Let's go out this way. So this one also producing some rain in that Llano River watershed. And then you can see the big storm that went up near the Knoxville area just outside of Gillespie County as well. So here's the radar situation there. That one looks like it's coming down in intensity a little bit. Let's just double check here how that's corresponding with the hail tracker. Yeah, that's looking better. So this is going to become not severe. This is going to be just some heavy rain and some lightning. But the storm, which is grazing Gillespie County, is still fairly strong now. This is going to miss Harper. Honestly, I would say this is probably going to miss our entire KVU area, but this does have a little hail core with it here along the I-10 corridor. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so that is mainly what we are tracking. And then we have a non-severe storm. This is kind of the new kid on the block here, which is developed over far southern Hays County, like south of San Marcos. That one does not have a severe warning with it, but it does have one of those strong storm advisories with it. Okay, so let's inspect that one for our friends in Hays County. As far as Travis County is concerned, out around Hamilton Pool, far western Travis County, we did have a storm that went up earlier. That one has weakened. Again, these storms are going up and they are becoming intense, severe in many spots, but they're not really moving. So if it goes up over you, well, you've been chosen. But if not, these storms aren't really moving that much. They just kind of go up, rain themselves out, and fall apart. And that's probably what's going to happen here in the San Marcos area. Again, it's mainly south of town, following 123 down, following I-35 down. And this is just another few little hail cores in there that we'll keep an eye on, but mainly this is heavy rain, smaller size hail, and then the lightning in these storms too. Let's check in on how much rain this one is producing. And again, anywhere in the blues, at least a tenth of an inch of rain. So I expect those totals will probably jump up some as well. So that is the situation right now. We do have some severe storms which are ongoing, mainly across Llano County. And that's going to continue for a little while longer here. We'll play this and you can see. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to have hit or miss storms like this, mainly over the hill country between now and about sundown. And then afterwards, we could have some more storms come in from the north. So what I want to do is, actually, we can skip through this. So bear with me. We're skipping through some graphics here. Again, I already gave you the radar tour. Okay, so now let's back out the view, and I'll show you what's going on to our north, and we'll turn this off. Let's see if this works. Might have to go over to the computer. Hand tracking was working while I was trying to use it, though. That's nice. Longtime viewers will know that's not always the case. Okay, so we've got this activity. Consider this like round one. Okay, well, all right, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning, which includes Hays County. Okay, so let's, before I get too far ahead of myself, let's zoom in and let's inspect that one, just because that is including some of the more populated parts of our KVU area. Honestly, that's kind of interesting. The hail core, we were just looking at it, didn't look like anything too crazy. All right, so we've got this. We'll switch over to our main radar here. So here is the details on this warning. Caldwell, Comal County, Guadalupe County, and then Hays County, which is in our KVU area. So Caldwell and Hays counties included in this one. Let's read the text of this. So let's see. Honestly, let's say slightly surprised. I mean, it's definitely a hail producer. So let's get things organized over here. How about this? There we go. So let's read through this one. We'll read through it together. So here's what they're saying. Severe thunderstorm located near San Marcos, moving northwest at 5. Again, these things are just crawling, barely moving. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Yeah, so kind of run-of-the-mill, severe stuff there. Locations that could be impacted include New Braunfels, San Marcos, Kyle, Seguin, Lockhart, Wimberley, Canyon Lake, Martindale, Euland, Kingsbury, Niederwald, Staples, Fentress, and then you get into some areas that are outside of our KVU area. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning there. Honestly, guys, I would say there's probably going to be areas that are included in this warning that are not going to see stormy weather at all. But since we're down here, all right, so they just updated that. They've updated it to a considerable, so the hail core is increasing. Again, not everybody's going to be seeing this hail, but this is now a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So let's go in closer here, and let's go in with the hail tracker. All right, so here is our hail tracker. I'm wondering if they have reports that are coming in. This is very close to the radar. Like, you want to be closer to the radar. You don't want to be like immediately right next to the radar, sometimes just because that distorts the radar view. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. I might need to pull up the National Weather Service chat too, just to see what they exactly are looking at. I mean, look, there's definitely some hail cores in there. And so we're looking at the radar from New Braunfels. So we're literally like several miles away. So I'm betting that they have some reports in here. Let me see, now that they've updated to that considerable tag, what they're saying for the hail core. Golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds is what they're saying. So this is in the San Marcos area, but especially on the east and the southeast side of town where this is located. So golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that upgrade to golf ball size hail is what got us the considerable tag. So let's do this. Let's go back to radar and let's go in super tight on the San Marcos area. Okay, so again, here's like central San Marcos. This is I-35. So here is like the Highway 90 corridor. This is where the San Marcos Regional Airport is at. This is Martindale. Redwood, you're getting rain. So this is coming in just on the east side of I-35. Here's a closer, I mean, we'll just keep zooming in, call out some streets here. So the Three Rivers Community Church, where you're seeing these like brighter colors, these purples and pinks, the magenta color, this is where the more sizable hail is located. Again, we're very close to the radar, which a lot of times is good, but there is such thing as like, hey, we're too close to the radar where we're not getting a full vantage point sometimes of the storm. So Three Rivers Community Church, North Old Bastrop Highway, River Road. This is the Quail Creek Golf Club, FM 110. And again, here's the Central Texas Medical Center, the Bowie School. This is I-35, right? So if you're driving from Austin, you peel off I-35, you go right. If you're going south, you go right into Texas State. This is on the left-hand side of the interstate. So this is on the east side of the interstate. So off of the Texas State campus right now on the east side of San Marcos. But this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. We mentioned it does have that considerable tag on it with reports of some hail up to about golf ball size hail. So it's a severe thunderstorm warning with that considerable tag. It's moving pretty slowly, but it's expanding north at about 5 miles per hour. So let's do a quick storm track, again at 5 miles per hour. It's not really going very far, but we'll just give folks a heads up. So out around the airport, and then this is going to move up on the northeast side of the San Marcos areas where this storm is going to be tracking here imminently over the next little while. So this one has some slight movement. So there it is, that updated hail core, which is ramping up a little bit. So you see why this is going to cross over that Highway 80 corridor. So basically, from Maxwell back west to San Marcos, the biggest of the hail is going to cross through these areas. And by the way, this warning does not include any part of Travis County. We'll see how far this makes it. As I mentioned, I do think this whole western side of the warning, we'll see if new activity develops, but you guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. It probably has pinged your phone, but it's not a guarantee that you get any stormy weather at all from this storm on the west side of I-35. So basically, San Marcos, Texas State, then east across I-35. That's going to be the place that's more so under the gun from this storm right now. Some more good news. So it looks like these hail cores, most of them are weakening out in Llano County, but the one that is out around Lake Buchanan is still fairly intense. What was it, a couple of weeks ago we had just like massive, like baseball size hail just ripping across Lake Buchanan. Something about Lake Buchanan is catching all the hailstones this year. All right, so the hail core went over the Buchanan Dam area. It's going to move out like basically right over the water, over the lake. And then this is going to pass. So here's Burnett. Looks like this is going to stay west of Burnett. So let's back out here. And I'll be interested to see, I think it's possible, they probably need to reorient this severe thunderstorm warning. The movement of these storms, they're like stationary, then as they start to fall apart, that outflow kind of kicks out some of these cells and new cells develop. So initially the storms aren't really moving much, and then some of the new cells that form kind of drift out away from where the original storm was. So just keep an eye on this place like Lake Victor, from Lake Victor back towards Taos, and then especially any of these communities, any of these lake communities right here around Lake Buchanan. You definitely are under the gun. In fact, so they're updated. So now we're getting up like 1.5 inch in diameter type hail. We don't want hail. We do want rain out here. We do certainly want the rain. Here's how much rain has fallen. Anywhere in blues, at least 1/10 of an inch. Anywhere in green is over 1 inch of rain. And we've got some 1 to 3 inch plus type totals, which are popping up here around town, down on the southwest side of town, then especially between the 16 and 71 corridors there. Okay, so that's what's going on. Go back one more. So here we go with, I mentioned we've got new storms which could approach our area. So this big cluster of storms up here, any clusters that form up here could make a run down at us. And also some of this activity, even outside of the area, have circled out around San Angelo. This will be in the middle of the night, so these storms, the idea is that they would probably be weakening some on approach to our area, but I think some of these storms will hold together. We'll get some more rain as we go into the overnight. So this is how I painted the rain coverage. Honestly, it might end up being a little bit higher than this, especially some of these areas, but it's more so like a 20% chance for rain and storms. Austin points south and southeast, and then with these clusters coming in tonight, a little bit higher northern I-35 corridor into the hill country where these storms are holding their intensity a little bit more. So about a 40-50% for those areas, 20 to 30% for our more central and then southeastern areas. Here's one of our models. This is the graph model, so it's showing this hit or miss activity over the next several hours. And then as we get into 11 o'clock, some of these more organized clusters of storms trying to work down from the north. And this model says maybe some of these are initially pretty strong as they move into the northern hill country, then kind of lose steam on approach to the Austin metro. But we'll see. I think especially across the hill country, some of these storms could pack a punch tonight. By tomorrow morning, any rainy weather is going to be gone, so it'll be dry heading out the door on Friday morning. Then as we go into Friday afternoon, mostly sunny. It's a less than 10% chance for rain during the afternoon. High temperatures, mid to upper 90s are in the forecast. So our usual low clouds in the morning on Friday. Then as we go into the afternoon, we're looking at a high of about 97 in the forecast. And then here's the plan area wide, mid to upper 90s. Then for Memorial Day weekend, and as I do this, just want to check in real quick with some of the reports as just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. You can see that Saturday, no issues at all. Oh, by the way, just got a report out of the San Marcos area. Report of a wind gust of 53 knots, which is 61 miles per hour at San Marcos Regional. So that storm is putting down some wind too. So we'll circle back to that, but I do, obviously, I'm sure folks have Memorial Day weekend plans. For Sunday, an isolated storm chance, but should be mainly dry. Then it's Memorial Day itself that's going to have the best rain chance. About a 40% is in the forecast. Yesterday, I was showing you the data off the European model, which brought in more widespread storms like in the middle of the day, around 1 o'clock. Now you can see new data says we're mainly dry into the early afternoon, then late afternoon into the evening. We have a decent coverage of rain and storms and maybe some of those potentially strong. So look, we'll have to see how this shakes out over the next couple of days. I don't see this being a washout like all day rain. I do think at least scattered storms will play a role in our forecast, and it's possible it could be more widespread than that, especially for the afternoon and the evening. So just start kind of thinking about a backup plan indoors if we need to pivot to that. Tonight, 73. I kind of like a broad brush average 30% rain chance in the forecast, but it could be a little bit higher than that, especially northern I-35 corridor into the hill country. Then for tomorrow, 97, but that 97 feels more like 103 when you factor in the humidity. You can see our storm chance on Memorial Day. And that's going to be associated with the front. So once that front comes in, I don't know that it like blows through our area, but it kind of lingers around. Some more clouds, still some rain, and maybe a little bit of a wind shift. So we'll try to go slightly cooler, looking at temperatures upper 80s, low 90s in the forecast. All right, so that's what's going on with the forecast. Now let's get back to what is currently happening. We do have a couple of severe storms that we are tracking. The newest one is the one that is developed in the San Marcos area, which, as I mentioned, has reported a wind gust now of 61 miles per hour. Let's see if that's going to pop up here on our current winds. Yeah, so there it is. Look at that. Sustained at 37, wind gust of 61 miles per hour. So that is with the storm that just moved through the San Marcos Regional Airport, which for folks who are familiar with San Marcos, that Texas State is on the east side, the campus on the east side of on the west side of I-35. Then on the east side of I-35 is the regional airport, and that's where the strongest part of this storm is located. Okay, so here we are back to the radar, and we'll get back into tracking mode here. So let's start down here in San Marcos. Again, guys, there are multiple. In fact, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, which does include the Burnett area. We'll get to that, but let's start down here in Hays County. Okay, so let's zoom in again, and we'll inspect this. As I was talking about earlier, there's a whole, man, that hail core is looking like it's pulsing up too. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So for areas that are west of I-35, less impacted by this storm, it's along and east of I-35 that has the greatest impacts. This did have a considerable tag with it earlier. Let's see if that information wants to pop up for us. So there it is. This goes until 8 p.m. The two of our KVU counties that this includes are Caldwell and Hays. It has the considerable tag with hail that could be up to golf ball size. I would say this might be intensifying a little bit. Wow, look at that. So it's expanding. It just pulsed out northeast. All right, so let's go in closer now, and let's go more like street level with where the strongest part of this storm is. Okay, let's zoom back in. So where you get into these pinks and then especially the black, that is the system saying, hey, we got big hail in here. So the San Marcos Regional Airport, as the leading edge came in, there's a wind gust of 61 miles per hour. Again, I-35, and then out east towards Maxwell and Martindale is where the strongest part of this storm is. More like central portions of San Marcos and out towards Texas State and the campus on the west side of I-35, you're less involved in this storm. But this is going to be big hail in the Martindale area, in the Maxwell area. Let's check in with the latest on the hail size. I bet this has jumped up. So there we go. We're getting into the blues, which is going to be more than an inch in diameter. So I would say this could be 1 inch to 1.5 inches or so in diameter. This is, considerable hail, but it is not destructive hail. Is this the type of hail that I think could ding up your car some? Yes. Is it like destructive, crack every windshield in town type hail? Probably not. But if you have your car sitting out somewhere, I think it probably is good just to get that protected because it is hail that I do think can be damaging. Maybe not as destructive as some of the hailstorms we've seen over the past couple of weeks. So we're getting at least golf ball size hail in this storm, which is coming up in the general vicinity of the San Marcos Regional Airport. So we just got a new radar scan. Let's go back. We'll take off the hail tracker because remember that hail product takes a little while. It's like 1 to 2 minutes where it lags behind. Oh, another thing too, so they had that wind gust. We're gonna have a really good view of this. So here's the wind speeds. I have another product I wanna show you guys. This is our wind tracker. So this is gonna isolate just the strong winds. And I think that the wind is gonna be primarily like on the leading edge of things. So yeah, out here, here's FM 110, here's the 21 corridor. So I think this is where we're going to have some 40 to 50 plus mile per hour winds. We're very close to the radar, so we're sampling low in the storm. But again, guys, I mentioned we have radar confirmation of it, right? Literal confirmation of it from the San Marcos Regional Airport, which gusted to 61 miles per hour. So we'll circle back to San Marcos here in a moment. Also want to make sure everybody in the hill country is staying up to speed with us. So let's go back out here to our new severe thunderstorm warning. It's the same cell that we were tracking over Lake Buchanan. This is kicked out northeast, kind of away from where the original storms developed though. So this warning does now include Burnett. Let's keep an eye on this in Burnett. I think the better hail chance might stay just on the west and northwest side of the city. Let's see if they did a considerable tag or anything with this warning. I believe it's just a standard warning. Yes, just regular severe thunderstorm warning for Burnett County until 7:45. Here's what the hail is doing in this storm. Again, it went kind of right over Lake Buchanan and is now emerging on the east side of the lake. So any of these lakeside communities which are on the east shore of Lake Buchanan, it passed over Buchanan Dam, went over southern sections of the lake, and now it's going to move out here kind of generally in the vicinity of Lake Victor, and then this is the 281 corridor. Burnett, I would say it's possible this hail core, the worst of it, misses you. You are going to get some rainy, stormy weather, but it's possible the hail core could stay, and hopefully it does. Hopefully the hail core stays just on the west side of town, but we'll need to continue to monitor that. Okay, let's go back over to, so that's Burnett. Let's go back over to Llano County, which is where things really got started earlier today. So that hail core really was big earlier, and it has trended down between Highway 16 and Highway 71, so that's good news. Let's see what the radar estimated rainfall totals are looking like, though. We want rain. I was joking with Guida about this earlier. It's like classic Central Texas fashion. It's like, yeah, hey, in any of these Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, random work days, yeah, let's get some heavy rain. Let's catch up. And then it's like the one day, Memorial Day weekend, we're trying to get outside where Mother Nature's like, oh, here's the rain you were asking for. Okay, I guess we'll take it. Okay, so here are the radar estimated totals. As I mentioned, anywhere in blue is 1/10 of an inch. Anywhere in green is at least 1 inch of rain. Oh, also getting some, this is cool, getting some reports of mammatus over the Lake Travis area. All right, might have to check in with some sky cams here in a little bit. Okay, let's zoom in real quick, and then I do want to get back down to Hays County, where we also have the ongoing severe weather. So let's query some of these. Not to brag, guys, I feel like I finally have the hand tracker dialed in a little bit here. I've been struggling with this. I made the icons bigger. I think we're onto something here. Yeah, so some pockets of 1 to 3 inches plus of rain have fallen here. We don't have a flood advisory for any minor flooding, but I would just, we need rain here. Again, I'm not complaining, but just a heads up here, ponding on roadways, low water crossings, stuff like that. We'll need to keep an eye on it. Here's an update from Hays County Office of Emergency Management, getting reports of heavy hail delaying responders in San Marcos. Trying to get an update on the hail size. Yeah, so again, that's that area, San Marcos and then east, where we've got reports of golf ball size hail, and we had that big wind gust, which was a 61 mile per hour wind gust at San Marcos Regional Airport. So that's the situation in the hill country. Let's go back, let's check in on San Marcos. So this one, most of these storms have been pretty stationary. This one is expanding northward, which will be important to watch because, not trying to get ahead of things here, but there's a world where this holds together, expands north, and ultimately impacts portions of the Austin metro. So again, guys, this is where the kind of leading edge is. Kyle, this is getting up closer to you, so especially if you're in the Kyle area on the east side of I-35, let's get indoors. Let's protect vehicles if you can here, because this is heading up towards you. Kyle area east of I-35 especially. Anywhere there between Lockhart and Kyle is where this storm is impacting. Does this still have the considerable tag with it? I believe it does. Let's pull up the information on this. Yeah, so still a severe thunderstorm warning with that considerable tag. This has produced confirmed winds of 61 miles per hour. In the technical criteria for severe winds are 58 miles per hour. So it literally met the technical criteria for severe winds, and it's also kicking out some hail with it too. But did you see that, the way, so the storm went up and then this outflow kicked out the hail core with it. So that's where we got those strong winds that just burst out from the storm, and it's expanding northward. And we'll see, I can see that kind of losing steam eventually. Just because we don't have like crazy forcing or big dynamics or anything like that today. So it's hot, it's humid. We've got fuel for storms to go up, but it's not like an organized thing that we're tracking. So it pushed out all this wind, it pushed out this hail, and hopefully it kind of hails itself out and we just get some rain out of this. Okay, so back to hail tracker. Let's check in with that. We'll go with this. Yeah, so we're definitely still picking up on hail here. Let's pause it, and then we'll go in street level with where this is located. Here along the 21 corridor. And remember, guys, this hail product can be a little bit displaced. So especially here, like where that radar is churning out the pinks and stuff, there's probably hail in there too. Let's back this out so that we're including Kyle too. Okay, so Kyle, this is heading up, it's heading up I-35. So especially if you're in the Kyle area east of I-35, let's take hail precautions. Uland, this is heading towards you, the Highway 21 area. These are the areas that are under the gun from hail with this storm. Once we start to get into those purples, that's where more significant hail starts to show up. So our system is estimating golf ball plus size hail, and we definitely, that is in line with the reports that we have been seeing. Lots of folks are telling me on Instagram that we've got Mamatis. All right, so let's do this. Let's switch on over to, what do I have pulled up here? What's going to be the best way to see this? Stand by. I'm going to walk back over here, and honestly what we should do though, I'm going to leave radar up so that we can look at both of these, so we're not leaving anybody in the dark. All right, so we're looking at the radar there. Now let's go on over here and let's see what's going on. Oh, they just updated the hail size, by the way, on this Hays County storm. Wow, up to 2.5 inches in diameter. So that is now, it still has that considerable tag with it. Hail as large as 2.5 inches in diameter is possible with this storm. So let's do this. We're going to do, I'll take you to the boxes, so I'm going to go through some of the sky cams, but I want you guys to be able to still see what's going on with these storms. In fact, let's focus in, let's go, just so everybody can see. Maxwell, the hail is over you. So on the east side of Kyle, back towards Maxwell and Euland and towards the Lockhart area. If you live immediately in Lockhart, it's possible that, I would say it looks likely that the biggest of the hail is going to stay west of you, but especially on the west side of town, Maxwell, Euland, back towards the Kyle area. These are the areas that are under the gun from this storm. Okay, so what do we got going on with Skycam? So that is our tower cam. Let's see what's going on. Honestly, Oasis might be one way to look at this. What I'm looking for is, I've had a bunch of people telling me there's Mamatis clouds. That's when you get those like, when the little like bubbles form on the underside of the thunderstorm anvil. We've had some really pretty, it's just tough to see. It's not good viz. We've got muggy conditions, a little hazy. I don't know. If you guys get some, actually here's, Kalahari might show this a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got them. There's our Mamatis. All right, let me put 26 in here. So that's it. There's our Mamatis. So a thunderstorm, right, is obviously an updraft, so you've got all sorts of rising air, but eventually some of that air starts to pulse downward, so these are little pockets of cooler sinking air on the bottom side of the thunderstorm anvil. So Round Rock, you're not getting a storm right now, but you are underneath the anvil from some of these distant storms, and you're getting really pretty Mamatis clouds. Wow, that's really cool. I'm going to tweet that out real quick, actually, while I am thinking about it. All right, so I'm going to switch you back over to this looping radar real quick while I get this posted out. We appreciate everybody joining us here on KVUE Plus. Normally this is when we do our like nightly extended update on the forecast, right? But obviously we are covering severe weather tonight. We've got hit or miss stuff going on this evening, but then you can see there is a level 3 enhanced risk up north of our area, and that's going to be coming down towards us. Weakening storms tonight, but I do think some additional storms will be possible overnight tonight. I actually want to show you some of the latest data off the high-res rapid refresh model here in a second too. All right, let me get this tweeted out. It's multitasking. Mamatis clouds over Round Rock. Are you guys seeing these? Tweet it. All right, so got that out. Let's get back into what's going on here now. So let's go over to Max 1. Here's our radar situation. Honestly, I think the most intense storm right now is this one, which is lifting now up between Kyle and San Marcos. Next up, and I would say we'll probably get a new warning here soon. It's going to be southeastern Travis, northern Caldwell, and then maybe portions of Bastrop County. So let's do the speed. Let's see if they've updated the speed. This is definitely not moving at 5 miles per hour anymore. So it's moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. They're saying tennis ball size hail and 60 mile per hour winds. Tennis ball size hail, 60 mile per hour winds. let's do a storm track on it. So let's pause this. And we'll do a squall. All right, so these, as always, are approximate, not verbatim. So moving, I'll say about like this. These are the areas that are potentially in the path of this storm. Not all of these areas are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but it does seem like this will probably be extended into at least portions of Travis County. So Lockhart, it's moving in now. Uland, this is approaching you here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Niederwald, 7:48. Mendoza, 7:52. 8 p.m. Lytton Springs, 8:04 for the Mustang Ridge area. Here's the latest hail tracker on it. Looks like definitely looks like a smaller hail core. And then, by the way, there's another one down south of Hays County on the southern section of the storm. So the storm went up and it basically split. One cell went north and one cell went south. So along the Highway 21 corridor heading into Uland is where near the County Road 229, FM 150, Tucson Trail, Delta Crest, Camino Real. Again, basically following Highway 21 into the Uland areas where this hail is going. As we go back to just the radar, again, anywhere in here there could certainly be some hail. We'll just kind of circle this where you get into these pinks. So like in this general area, I would say that's the greatest likelihood of hail. That's the most intense part of the storm. See if the wind tracker, all right, so there's an update. So Uland, get ready, this is coming in, golf ball to tennis size hail. It is coming into town now. And there's definitely, some strong winds in here too that we'll need to keep an eye on. The San Marcos Regional Airport has a confirmed gust that I'll just show you real quick that was over 60 miles per hour. So the updated now is just at 6, but we have a confirmed wind gust of 61 miles per hour at the San Marcos Regional Airport, which is on the east side of I-35 on the east side of San Marcos. All right, let me check in real quick with the stream comments and everything. You guys let me know, obviously, if you have any reports or any questions that you guys would like us to address here. I'm going to pull up the NWS chat and then also my X page. If you guys have any photos or anything that you'd like to pass along, the easiest way, honestly, is just to send them to me on X. Just mention me or send me send me a direct message. Yes, I'm getting lots of, all right, I'm going to retweet some of these Mamatis photos. David Alford, watching in Tao. He's got some storms out there in Llano County. So yeah, that's the situation right now. What I want to do, let's go back over to the wall and we'll go storm by storm through this another time. The most intense storm is what is coming up now, now north of the San Marcos area, but we also have a severe storm, multiple severe warnings out in the hill country over parts of Llano and Burnett counties. All right, so get everything all situated and I'll walk back over here and we will start tracking these storms. Bring my phone in case we get any new alerts. All right, so obviously we will, oh, I didn't put the wall in there. Hang on. Did that work? There we go. Okay, so let's do, actually I need to make sure, I used a different button. I need to make sure mics are still on. The fun of streaming. Okay, we are all good. I didn't know that button worked. All right, we've got a separate button over here at the wall, which is supposed to punch up the chroma wall, and it does in fact work. All right. Okay, so let's zoom in here in Hays County into Caldwell County. As I mentioned, it originally was one storm that went up near San Marcos. It went up like right here, and then it split. One went up north, this cell. One went down south, so the one going south is increasingly not really in our KVUE area, but the one going north is now impacting parts of Hays and Caldwell counties. This could graze southern sections of Travis County too. So let's get in closer on this one. Coming right into the Maxwell area. So let's get in closer. In the, the Uland area is where this is coming in now. So we'll pause this. So again, right here in the pink, this is where the hail is. Golf ball to tennis size hail is what's been reported with this storm. It's coming right into the Uland areas. This is moving northeast now at 15. Okay, so it's coming into, I guess before we go out, let's zoom in a little bit closer, street level. We'll let you know if this is immediately in your neighborhood. The 21 corridor. We'll zoom in closer. How close do we have to zoom in for roads and stuff to start popping up? But I mean, as you just get closer to the storm, again, you can see it. This is a considerable hail core which is developed here. Golf ball to tennis ball size hail is what is being reported with this storm, and based on what we're seeing on radar, I certainly think that is a possibility. Okay, so where is it going from here? Well, let's just kind of expand north and crawl up northward with this storm. So it'll move into the Uland area. Then it's going to go up northeast. So this is going to follow 21 up towards Niederwald. From there, if it holds together, this is going to be close to Mustang Ridge. Basically, this is going to follow 21. Lytton Springs, Niederwald, Mustang Ridge. These are the areas that are going to be in the path of this storm down the line if it continues. And as so let's punch up the information with this warning. I think it goes through 8 p.m. So I would say here in the next 10, 15 minutes, if there's going to be an extension, which I imagine there will be, man, so the hail core still is ramping up here. Man, it ramped up right as it came into Uland. So now it's not just the purples. We've got the blacks, which are showing up here. So that is going to be that potential for damaging hail. I've been saying this over and over again, but I just want to give you a heads up. If you live in Mendoza, if you live in Niederwald, if you live in Mustang Ridge, I like to give people a heads up. If you live in Lytton Springs, is this the type of hail that damages cars or is it not? This is the type of hail that can be damaging to vehicles. This could be golf ball size hail, if not larger. So if you live in Lytton Springs, if you live here along the southern section of the 183 corridor up to Mustang Ridge, if you live in Niederwald, you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning yet, but if you're not doing anything and you get your cars protected or anything outside that you need to have protected, that is a wise course of action right now because you are in the path of this storm as it's moving northeast at 15. We'll do another storm track on it. Then we'll head out to the hill country and we'll focus on those storms for a while. So here is our squall. We'll do a line about like that. And then we'll trace this northeast at 15. I'm going to do a little more east, so we'll do about like that. So Niederwald, 746, here in about 10 to 15 minutes, moving into your area. Mendoza, 748, Lytton Springs, 756, 802 for Mustang Ridge. And then this is kind of on the far, western fringe of things, we'll see, but it could be in the general vicinity of Circuit of the Americas, Austin Bergstrom International Airport. On the southeast side of Austin, it could be in the general vicinity of at least grazing areas out around Coda and around the airport. But I think Niederwald, Mendoza, you're in Lytton Springs, you're more directly in the path of this storm. Here's the hail core. Let's see if this is updated. Yeah, and again, guys, this is still sizable hail that could be up to tennis ball size with this storm, and that is why this is not just your run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning. They have a considerable tag on it, so there's only one step up, and that would be destructive. But I would imagine we're about to get a new warning here any moment now, which will go into at least portions of Travis County. While we wait on that, let's go back and let's talk about what's happening in the hill country. Again, guys, Llano County is where this originally kind of got kicked off here a while ago. Looks like now just one severe thunderstorm warning in the hill country, and that's for Burnett, but we do have new activity which is developing over the southern sections of Llano County into northern Gillespie County. So this looks to me, just looking at the reflectivity, like this is coming down. Yeah, I mean, hail tracker's not even picking up on any hail here. So before we leave it, this is the stats on this warning. This was slated to go until 7:45, so it's got another 10, 15 minutes. We'll see. They might just let this kind of ride out, but this storm is definitely trending down. But we are trending in the, okay, so there we go. Looks like they're adjusting the size of the hail. I think they had that up larger. So as the hail core diminishes, they're dropping that down. Let's see, that ding might have been, oh, that is actually a flood advisory. Okay, so I'll show you that for Llano. And then I'm waiting on this new warning, which could include portions of Travis County. So there here is our flood advisory. Remember, this means that minor flooding is a possibility. And it's in this like light green area. So here on the south side of Llano, and the reason for that is because we have a pretty large swath of rain, which has fallen here. Hey, we're happy to have rain, but we just want to give you a heads up. Ponding on roadways, covered low water crossings, stuff like that. Just our normal reminders here: turn around, don't drown. So let's punch up some of these numbers. These are going to be like 3-inch plus totals here, probably, yeah, 2.8. Yeah, there's a 4-inch. These are radar estimated totals, but this is definitely enough to give you some isolated issues with flooding here between Kingsland and Enchanted Rock, basically. Okay, so that's what's going on in the hill country. Well, actually, I don't think we did not inspect our new storm. So there it is. Is there hail in this thing? Yeah, looks like there is a hail core. Now, this is not the same type of destructive hail with that storm down in Hays County, but there's definitely a hail core in here. All right, so yeah, so along and east of Highway 16, on the northeast side of Eckerd, out around like Willow City, and those areas over northeastern Gillespie County. Wouldn't surprise me if this pops a new severe thunderstorm warning as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so that's what's going on. Let's go back to the big picture. Nothing yet right now in Austin, but I think parts of the metro could get a little, could start to get in on some of this action here, depending on what they do with this new cell, which is expanding northward, and which is going to be moving into eastern sections of Travis County. I would imagine we should get a severe thunderstorm warning, a new one with this really like any moment now. So let's go in close and we'll prep for that. So here it is. Again, this is a storm with a history of golf ball to tennis ball size hail, which is moving into the Uland area right now. Niederwald, Mustang Ridge, Mendoza are the areas that are in the path of this storm. So I'm just waiting here another moment to see if we do in fact get that update. And it looks like, okay, so that the severe thunderstorm warning for Burnett, Llano County that we're talking about, how it was trending down, so that's been canceled. So no additional warnings in the hill country at this time. Just that lingering flood advisory for minor flooding potential there in the vicinity of Llano County. While we wait on this, I'm going to go run and grab my laptop real quick so I can get the NWS chat pulled up. Again, guys, just another thank you. We appreciate everybody. Okay, so there. That ding was a new severe thunderstorm warning. We went all of 25 seconds with no severe thunderstorm warning for the hill country. That's a new one for parts of Gillespie County. As I'm over here looking at my other computer display, there is a rain gauge here, Hickory Creek near Castell in Llano County, that in a rain gauge confirmed as 2.58 inches of rain that has fallen. So that's out in that vicinity of where the flood advisory has been issued. All right. It only takes me like 1 or 2 hours to get everything in place the way I like it over here for severe weather, but I think we've got everything now. All right, so now the most fun part of this, I know everyone is waiting for this, the two-factor login to the National Weather Service Slack. Oh, I'm already logged in. I mean, this is just fantastic. Seeing some reports here in the chat. Golf ball size hail, 200 block Rolling Meadows Lane in the Kyle area. I told you guys earlier from emergency management officials there in Hays County saying reports of heavy hail delaying first responders in the San Marcos area. That was at 7:15, so that was a while ago. So they were saying in the 1400 block of Yarrington Road, officer needing a tow due to significant damage to car. If you've got hail damage that requires towing your car, that's definitely a big hail. New reports from the Uland area, which is it took a direct hit from that hail core. Okay, and then by the way, there's our new severe thunderstorm warning. Uland, callers reporting hail coming in through windows, multiple glass breaks, alarms going off. Man. So unfortunately, that was big hail that came, as we expected, that was coming into the Uland area. Okay, so here's our new warning, which goes into southeastern Travis and into Bastrop County. So let's switch back over here and get the stats. This is still a considerable warning. So Bastrop, Caldwell, Hays, and Travis counties. This goes until 8:30. Severe thunderstorm warning still with the considerable tag. I would imagine this is at least golf ball size hail. Let me punch up the numbers here and I'll just read what the National Weather Service is discussing. Severe thunderstorm located near Niederwald or near Lockhart, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. Golf ball size hail still and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Locations that could be impacted: eastern sections of Austin, Kyle, Buda, Lockhart, the Austin-Bergstrom International Airport, Uland, Mustang Ridge, Niederwald, Cedar Creek, Wildwood, Onion Creek, Hornsby Bend, Creedmoor, Garfield, Del Valley, Pilot Knob, McKinney Falls State Park, Lytton Springs, and the Dale area. So this is still going northeast at 15. Let's do this. Let's do a storm track on it. So we'll pause. And we'll do a new storm track with the motion still at 15. Again, approximate timing. I'm just going to go right across the warning. This is honestly probably going to be, it's out ahead of the storm a little bit, so this might be a little early. All right, so there we go. Taking it into Niederwald here very shortly. It's coming in like next 5-10 minutes. Dale 744, Mustang Ridge 754. Into Creedmoor, 757, Coda, 819, the airport, 825, Cedar Creek, 828, and Del Valley, around 835. So the areas most directly in the path are places around Niederwald, around Mustang Ridge, and around Cedar Creek. For bigger portions of the metro, let's clear this out, and we'll back this out. A lot of phones might be pinging in Travis County. This is not going to impact all of the metro. In fact, most of it probably won't. This is just on the south and southeast side of Austin. Now, we do have another severe thunderstorm warning out west into the hill country, and I do think some more storms will come in late this evening into the overnight, but not all of the Austin metro is going to be impacted by this storm. This is just southern and southeastern sections of Travis County. So that is the situation. Again, Mustang Ridge, Niederwald. This is a storm that came into the Uland area. It's produced damaging hail. This is the type of hail that can do damage. This is golf ball size hail. At times it's been larger than that. So take your hail precautions out ahead of this storm, and hopefully it pulses down and we don't have to worry about it. But I think better safe than sorry when you're talking about hail potential like this. Okay, so with that, let's go out into the hill country. And what we'll do is we'll do this. Okay, so this has a little look to it on the reflectivity that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like when the hook reaches down like that. These storms are mainly hail threats, so here's the stats on this severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so it's still pulling our considerable warning because that one's taking precedent. We've got to go in a little bit closer here, so we'll focus in on southern Llano, Gillespie, and then Blanco County. So here it is, Blanco, Gillespie, Llano until 8:15. I'll read you the text of this warning. This is primarily prompted by the hail size. They are saying, severe thunderstorm located near Blowout or 14 miles southwest of Kingsland, moving southeast at 10, 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So it looks like the hail a little bit smaller potentially in this one. So here's the hail core, the hail tracker rather. Yeah, so there it is in the blue. That's going to be quarter-size hail, which is coming in basically near the Eckert area. Zoom in a little closer on it. So this is going to be on the east side of Highway 16 and on the east side of Eckert. Out towards like Willow City, this is a relatively rural part of Gillespie County. What is this road right here? Let's see if we zoom in close enough if this road will pop up. Ranch Road 1323. Is that the road right here? Yeah, so Ranch Road 1323 is where this hail core is about to cross over. Quarter-size hail is what we're looking at with this storm. And this is now the only severe warning in the hill country. So it's been mainly Llano County. Now it's a new storm that has developed and is producing some quarter-size hail. So Stonewall, Sandy, into like Round Mountain. Just to be safe, let's take hail precautions here, but this is less destructive than the hail that we have seen at times with this storm, which is coming in now to southeastern Travis, northern Caldwell, and Bastrop. But it looks like that one is starting to lose steam a little bit, so that'd be fantastic. Rain, yes, we want rain. Hail, we definitely do not want. Okay, so again, just the one warning out there in the hill country. Let's go back in and we'll focus on this area one more time. And then what I might do is assuming this continues to behave itself. Actually, I forgot what I was trying to do there. I do want to check out the velocity real quick on that hill country storm. I mentioned it had that hook to it, so let's go back out to the hill country real quick. All right, so here's the regular reflectivity. Again, you can see it's got that little hook reaching down to it. The pinks and the black, that's where the bigger hail is. These are the Doppler winds with the storm. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of broad rotation. Let's loop it. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple little areas of some broad twist going on in this storm. I'd be interested to see what the shear tracker is showing. Okay, so let's go back in here. There's our shear tracker. Yeah, I mean, it's picking up on a little bit of shear, so we'll keep an eye on that. They don't have the tornado possible tag on this cell, but it does have a little bit of rotation there over northeastern Gillespie County. Let's go in a little closer on that one. Again, Eckert and then Willow City, I would say, is probably the biggest landmark I can give you. So there it is, Eckert, Willow City. I remember one time when I first got here, somebody sent me a whole thing about Willow City. I believe it's like no longer an official, I forget the phrase, but it's no longer an official incorporated town. But out here on the east side of the Eckert area, yeah, I mean, we've got a little bit of shear going on out there. If you guys have been, and most people who watch these extended streams probably are, if you've been watching some of the severe weather coverage with us over the past couple of weeks on the shear product, typically when you start getting into this maroon and above, like that's when it starts to be like, okay, hey, tornadoes might be happening. This is a light wind shear right now, but look, it's definitely something that we want to keep an eye on. It's very broad. We're just kind of right in this zone. I need to change the color of this. I keep doing this. It's red and then it goes over the red and it's hard to see, but that's kind of the area where there's some broad rotation. But primarily, again, guys, this storm it's a hail threat. So you can see that quarter-size hail in that kind of same general vicinity where we had the rotation. Okay, so let's check back in with Hays County. I keep saying Hays County. This is basically like far northern fringes of Hays County now and about to move into Travis County. And then, hey, here's another little cell going up here. All right, so this is looking better to me. Hail intensity coming down. These hailstorms, they obviously pulse up and they pulse down, so this could just as easily, change here in the next scan. But I'm encouraged. This doesn't look to me to be the same type of destructive hail, but here in Mustang Ridge, nickel to quarter size hail. The Uland area unfortunately took a direct hit from big hail, I'm afraid. But Mustang Ridge, this is smaller hail, so hopefully this continues to trend down in a downward direction. Let's go back over here, and I want to inspect this new cell developing out here in the Shady Hollow, Oak Hill, 290 area. This is all very tame right now, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we've got some warmth, some humidity, some juice out there for storms, as we've seen this evening. So we'll have to, watch this. You'll see it's just kind of rippled up from nowhere. Yeah, but honestly, based on how quickly that went up, this one might intensify too. So we'll need to watch this. Just early heads up, not like a certainty, but early heads up, Oak Hill, Shady Hollow, Fitzhugh area along the 290 corridor here, southwestern Austin metro suburbs. If this storm follows the trend of past storms, this could pulse up and produce some hail too. Along 290, Oak Hill, Shady Hollow. So we'll watch that very closely. Okay, so that's what's going on. Man, this storm looks pretty nasty out here in the hill country all of a sudden. So this is the one we were watching with that broad rotation. Let's go back to that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, like right in there a little bit. Let's see what shear is showing. Yeah, and it's still picking up on a little bit of light shear there. Again, this is not a tornado threat. I don't think they've even added that tornado possible tag with it. It just regular run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning, but it's kind of got that look to it. So just, I mean, if you're watching this, you're obviously keeping tabs on it. But, you know, we just want folks, Stonewall, Johnson City, just to kind of keep an eye on this with us here over the next little while. What I'm going to do real quick, okay, so that's the situation. Basically 2 severe storms right now. This one still has the considerable tag, but this is weakened. I would say this is more like quarter size or smaller hail, which is coming into Mustang Ridge, but it did produce big hail at around like Euland and then on the east side of San Marcos. This is a storm that's growing in intensity across the hill country. I'm going to go make sure everybody's squared away in the back real quick. So I'm going to turn off my mic for 1 second. Y'all just, here, I'll get you on the looping radar for a moment. I'm going to be right back in like literally 1 minute. Again, guys, we appreciate everybody watching us here on KVU Plus. Give me like 60 seconds and I will be right back. All right, hello everybody, I'm back. We are all squared away. Mic batteries have been changed. We are all good. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. Let's check back in here with what is going on over the far southeastern Austin Metro, southeastern Travis County, coming into Mustang Ridge. This is still a hail-producing storm. I don't think it's quite as bad as what it was earlier. If you live in Niederwald, let me know what kind of hail that you saw. Hail tracker, yeah, so it's pulsed up again. I mentioned that, guys. These things, they pulse up and they pulse down. So this looks like about quarter-size hail, which is moving into Mustang Ridge here in the next couple of minutes. So let's make sure we are hunkered down inside. Niederwald, Mustang Ridge. Then next up, this is going to be going into far eastern Travis. Here, I'll walk back over to the wall so that we can track this. And actually let's see if we've got any sky cams that could give us a vantage point. Tower cam, we can get that pointed in the right direction. Oh, wow, okay. So this will be a good vantage point, honestly. And then what we'll do, let's get Zach camera reoriented also. That way we'll be able to see downtown. And what I'm going to do is actually we're going to box this. That way we can keep an eye on everything. So we're going to go triple box, wall, router 1. Then I've got to put Max 2 in here. One moment. This is the joy of the streaming world, guys. We multitask a little bit, and it takes a little while, but we get everything done. All right, so here is router 2 pulled up there. I'm going to get Zach Theater punched in there, and then we'll be ready to go. But what you're looking at, guys, is the hail core, which is coming into the Mustang Ridge area right now, about quarter-size hail. It's not the same destructive stuff that we had a little earlier. I don't think that it's, golf ball to tennis ball right now, but, quarter-size plus hail definitely looks fair game here. All right, we're going to put Cam 24. There we go. Okay, now we've got it all set up. Let's take boxes, and now we'll be able to track, and then well, I don't have the right one again. Router 1. Okay. So there's tower cam. Now we've got it all. Now we've got it all squared away. And I'm hearing some new dings over here. Let's see what these new alerts are. So I think they're updating this warning. And by the way, I'm seeing more reports of this hail that fell over parts of Hays County, and this is every bit of golf ball size hail, if not a little bit larger than that. Okay, and by the way, this is now expanding a little bit farther to the west. So let's do this. Let's go back and do just kind of a big picture reset here. We've got a couple of warnings. So that was the original severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be dropped off. This is the storm that we're keeping an eye on for hail and a little bit of broad rotation in the hill country. And then this storm, that's what you're looking at back behind me. That's what you were looking at here. Okay, that is rolling in on the southeast side of the Austin Metro. And then we've got non-severe stuff on the southwest side of the Metro. So basically two concerning storms. This one, hail-producing storm coming into Mustang Ridge. The next up, out around like the airport, out around Coda, those far eastern areas of Travis County. And then this one, I do want to spend some more time analyzing what is going on with that storm in the hill country. So let's go out there, then we'll get you back to the Metro. Man, this thing looks, just based on the reflectivity, this thing looks like it is really ramped up. Look, we talk about this all the time. I like to say it has the hook look to it. So it's got this hook, which is reaching down. Let's see what the velocities are showing here. And it's broad, but it's right in here. The shear tracker's been showing at least some light rotation in here, and that looks a little bit better. We'll loop it, especially earlier. This had, it was showing some decent signs of rotation. Looks like that has kind of come down some, but this is still definitely a big hail-producing storm. Have they added any tags to this severe warning? So it's still just run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning, but this is heading down towards LBJ Ranch. So it's basically expanding southeastward, so down towards LBJ Ranch with pretty sizable hail in there. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's ramped up some. Let's pause. And we'll get in closer. As we've been saying, this one, as of now, in a relatively rural spot, but then as you get down to the LBJ Ranch area, obviously we do have folks that live there, but we're getting into the purples here, which is going to be 1.5 inches or more in diameter. So our system is picking up on golf ball size hail, which is on approach to the general vicinity of LBJ Ranch. So some strong winds in here, up to 50, 60, broad rotation, but not an imminent concern for a tornado. Main thing is going to be the golf ball size hail with that cell. Okay, so now let's go back over to Travis County. The only hail core right now is this one, which is coming into Mustang Ridge. There's a few other cells which are popping up, but as of now, they're not producing hail. All right, so here it is. Yep, coming right into Mustang Ridge. Looks like it's maybe pulsed up ever so slightly. Maybe, yeah, I would say quarter to golf ball size hail. So here's 183 into Mustang Ridge. This is the 21 corridor. Mendoza down here at the far bottom. This is coming into Mustang Ridge. Let's see what the system is estimating. It is estimating golf ball size hail with this storm. Okay, so we just got an update to one of our severe warnings where they added a considerable tag to it. I bet that's the storm out here in the hill country. So let's zoom back out. So here's the latest on this warning. See which one it chooses. Yeah, so they've added, we're back to the considerable tag now. So a considerable tag on this warning where we're looking at about golf ball size plus hail. In fact, I'll read you the latest on that warning. Yeah, golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds with that cell. This is still moving, so it's picked up speed a little bit. It's moving northeast at 30. So let's do a storm track on this. I want to give you an idea of when and where this will be moving into. So let's give ourselves a little runway here. So we'll keep Austin in the frame. And then we're just going to do kind of a broad brush squall, and I'm going to include even the far western portions of this warning. So they said 15 still, right? Let me double check that. So there's the times based on 15. Oh, they've updated to 30 miles per hour. So let's do a new version of that one. So we'll clear all that off for you, and we'll pick up the speeds. It's going to be those same areas, but obviously just coming in a little bit sooner. So here it is, right across our warning. And then as we go 30, so this is going to drag in some places that are not currently involved in the warning, but maybe could be down the line if this storm holds together. So coming into Mustang Ridge now, into Elroy at 8:10 here the next 10 minutes, into Cedar Creek at 8:16. And again, Mustang Ridge is the spot that's most directly in line of it right now. Cedar Creek, Del Valley, 8:19, Wildwood, 8:23, Weberville. Yeah, Weberville, another spot over eastern Travis to watch. Camp Swift, 8:40, Littig at 8:46, and Elgin, if it holds together, could be a factor for you as we get closer to about 9 o'clock or so. And then what you're looking at back behind me on the top right of your screen, that is our tower cam, pointed down southeast, looking at this storm as it is now rolling into southeastern sections of the Austin metro. This is a piece of good news here, I would say. So I'll clear all this out. This cell went up here near the Oak Hill area along 290. You see that lightning there in the distance? So this cell, it went up. It looked like this thing was going to try to make a run at becoming severe. It is not, so that's good news. And then they've just trimmed some areas out of our warning. So here are the new areas that are in with this warning. Just Bastrop, far northern Caldwell, and far southeastern Travis. Not everybody in Travis County is going to be impacted by this. It's only like Mustang Ridge and then out towards like Coda and the Del Valley area, eastern sections of Travis County. And we'll watch this one roll in. So on our Zach Theater camera here, bottom part of the screen, probably not going to get any rain there. We might see some lightning off in the distance. Then Tower Cam, which is in Westlake Hills, obviously, but pointed out to the east and to the southeast. I think we'll see the rain shaft and the lightning off in the distance, but I don't think either of those locations are going to get impacted by rain directly from this storm. Okay. So let's go back out and let's see what's going on in the hill country. I still don't like the look of that, just to be honest with you. Remember this was a couple weeks ago, and it was a pretty rare like morning tornado warned storm, which popped up over Gillespie County into Blanco County. It didn't produce confirmed damage, but it definitely had some winds and some rotation with it. So let's inspect that one. And this is the one that is coming down towards LBJ Ranch. It's just, it's got that hook, which is reaching down there, down towards Stonewall, down towards LBJ Ranch. Here are the Doppler winds. Yeah, and look, it's not a tight couplet. It's just broad rotation in here. The shear tracker has been really good with these past couple of events. And yeah, that's the area where there's light rotation. Still, there's not even a tornado possible tag on this. It's more like inside baseball, just something it's like getting ahead of the next step, trying to see if anything could spin up in there. I don't love the look of it, but right now it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag due to the hail risk and not because of any sort of a tornado threat. Let me see what's going on with, wow, I'm getting some new video from the Uland area. Yeah, direct hit from pretty big time hail, unfortunately, in the Uland area. So let's see what they're saying with this warning from the National Weather Service. Yeah, up to 2-inch in diameter hail now possible here in Gillespie County and Blanco County and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This could impact places like Round Mountain and Stonewall, Sandy, Willow City, Blowout, and LBJ National Historical Park. Yeah, so Stonewall and the LBJ Ranch out there along the Pedernales River and the 290 corridor is where this storm is impacting folks. And it does look like we've got another scan here. Just, keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on the velocity out here. Yeah, that's where we've got a little bit of rotation in there. And just a sample look, rotating winds, we obviously watch for a tornado, but straight line winds of 50 to 60 will be a possibility in this storm too. I mean, that's a radar estimate velocity of 41 miles per hour. So I think easily some 40 to 50 is going to be a possibility in that storm. There's a new one. Let's clear everything off. Yeah, still looking about the same. Still looking like pretty much a broad rotation with that storm. Okay, so that's what's going on there in the Stonewall area. Let's get back in a little closer to the metro, see what's going on with our southeastern Travis County storm, and that is it, obviously. We'll zoom into that one. This is the one that did produce pretty sizable hail in the Uland area, and I'll show you the hail track on this one here in a second. It's over Mustang Ridge now. Lytton Springs, the worst of the hail is past you. It's to your north. Cedar Creek, you might get grazed by this. Let's go in closer though, and I want to just try and find some communities that are more directly in the path here. Yeah, so this is heading up towards Coda and Del Valle and towards the Circuit of the Americas, and you can see the lightning with this storm back behind me. So a few things that we can look at here. All right, so Coda, it's coming in towards you. Sunchase Parkway, Highway 71 East, Elroy Road. I think it's going to pass just on the east side of the airport and then towards Garfield. So these areas, Elroy, Garfield, you guys are directly in the path of this storm. It has still the considerable tag with it, so this could be hail that is, we'll just check. This could be hail that's quarter to golf ball size hail. So there it is, still every bit of quarter size hail, which is coming in. Walnut to quarter size hail. You guys know the drill. These hailstorms, they pulse up, they pulse down from time to time. Okay, so what is going on with the lightning in these storms? That might be something folks notice even from off, like in the distance. If you're not even being impacted by the storm, you just see all the lightning strikes off in the distance. So it's not crazy, but it's got 17 lightning strikes with it right now. So that's some of the lightning we're seeing off in the distance from our tower cam there. And then again, I don't think this is going to make it into central portions of the Austin Metro. This is going to be Coda, it's going to be Del Valle, it's going to be Garfield, it's going to be out around the airport. This is all eastern sections of Travis County, but it's got the risk for hail with it. Latest text from the National Weather Service, they're saying golf ball size hail, quarter to golf ball size hail, and 60-mile-per-hour winds around the airport, Mustang Ridge, Niederwald, Onion Creek, Hornsby Bend, Creedmoor, Garfield, the Maha area, Del Valle, Pilot Knob, McKinney Falls State Park, those type of areas there over southeastern Travis County. You are under the gun from that storm. Just getting tons of mammatus sent in too. So those little pockets of sinking air, the thunderstorm clouds that have the little bubbles that reach down, those are the mammatus clouds, which have been pretty spectacular across parts of the metro. David Alford, his aunt lives in the Uland area and did have, it says quarter to golf ball size hail there in Uland, and that is like accumulating hail on the ground. I'll walk back over to the desktop and we'll get some photos queued up for you guys here in a moment. But before we do that, here, let's take this full. So that's what it looks like. Now let's do one more inspection of what's going on out here in the hill country. So it looks like they have issued another new extension of that severe thunderstorm warning. So let's see what the latest is. This one is much more of a lightning producer. Just to give you the count on this one. This is, and look, is this like overly scientific? No, but like, hey, the more intense storms obviously produce more lightning. So that one that is moving into southeastern Travis was producing 17 lightning strikes. I believe it's just over a 15-minute span. This one is producing close to 500. So this is a more intense storm heading towards Johnson City and towards the LBJ Ranch. And you know, I've been talking with you guys about the storm. I still don't like the look of it. It definitely has big hail in it, and it's trying to do some broad rotation too. So there's the hail core, which is coming down into the LBJ Ranch area. Did they add any tags to this warning now? So here's the new one. Okay, so they've added that tornado possible tag that I was talking about. So it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag and a tornado possible tag. So look, just out of an abundance of caution, if you live in the LBJ Ranch area, let's stay inside, let's stay hunkered down. Hopefully you're doing that already with the hail threat, but just with this little hook here, let's what are our winds doing here? Yeah, it's I would say it ramped up a little bit there. Let's zoom in a little closer to this. So this is the Pedernales River, High, Stonewall, Blumenthal. It's basically over Stonewall in the LBJ Ranch area. Let's go back north. We're kind of between radars, which is why it's like switching back and forth. Let's see, shear tracker, are we picking up on anything here? Yeah, just some light shear here on the northeast side of Stonewall. So this is why they've added that tornado possible tag. This is primarily a considerable hail threat, but there's also some broad rotation in here. I'd imagine this is in a pretty rural zone. Let's just zoom in as close as we can, see if anything pops up here. No big landmarks or anything, but I mean, just looking at the mapping and stuff here, there's some roads and there's some, a lot of these like ranch roads out here. There's some stuff out here, so just make sure you're hunkered down here in the general vicinity of the LBJ Ranch out in Gillespie County. Mainly a hail threat, but it is a storm that they've at least seen enough where they've added that tornado possible tag to it because it has some of that rotation with it. So that's the more intense storm. That is definitely the stronger storm, which is out here in the hill country. But this storm is, definitely not a pushover here coming into the southeast side of the Austin Metro too. So we'll get in closer on this one again. So this is between now Mustang Ridge and Cedar Creek. This is going to head up towards Garfield is where this storm is going to head. Yeah, so if you live in the Garfield area, stay hunkered down here with this hail threat. Latest scan came down a little bit, but again, guys, it's what hailstorms do. Pulse up, pulse down. So I'm sure this could just as easily ramp up here in the next scan. I meant to show you guys the hail tracks earlier. So this is not the current hail. This is the historical, the hail tracks, the hail path. So we'll zoom out, and this normally takes a second to load, but what you're going to see, so look at this. Developed on the east side of San Marcos. Let's zoom in. All right, we'll use the interface here so the computer is happy. So again, historical, not current. Developed out here on the east side of San Marcos, out around like the San Marcos Regional Airport. Went up into Uland. Looks like maybe just in the nick of time, the hail came down slightly in intensity, but Uland up to Maxwell. You guys got some hail. Then it kind of cycled. It weakened some here between Uland and Mustang Ridge, and it followed the 21 corridor, just like we said. Then it ramped up just past Niederwald into the Mustang Ridge area, and now, guys, again, you can just see it's heading up towards Elroy. This is the airport, so up here in the Del Valle, Garfield, Elroy area. Coda, this is going to be the zone to watch. Here's the Colorado River, right, which eventually crosses over into Bastrop County. Garfield, Coda, Del Valle, Austin Airport. These type areas are where we want to make sure we are taking hail precautions right now. Not a tornado threat. This is a hail threat that we're tracking. All right, so that is the situation right now. Let me just check in with all of our streams and everything, see if we have any questions. I might take a quick breather here just to get oriented and look at some of the data. Still, we're obviously keeping a very close eye on this cell out here in Gillespie County, which is that's the one that's got the tornado possible tag on it. Latest from the National Weather Service, they're looking at some of the photos and videos coming in from the Uland area. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Before we jump off of here, we'll show some of the photos. I see we've got about 250 folks who are watching here on the YouTube stream. We appreciate it. Probably more who are watching on KVUE Plus. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us here on KVUE Plus. And look, this is something we are super focused on streaming here. If it doesn't necessarily have to be like crazy severe weather. If we have impactful storms, just consider it likely that we will be on KVUE Plus. It's something that we're trying to take very seriously, this whole streaming aspect. So we appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's at. Right over LBJ Ranch. This is a little bit of broad rotation here around LBJ Ranch and high. Certainly not enough that I think say that. Yeah, so we've added a ring out here. Rotation over Ranch Road 2721 on the north side of LBJ Ranch. So this is why they've issued this severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag. Here, let me deactivate our tracker here. Or we'll do it like this. It's not enough that we have a tornado warning, but again, guys, it's definitely something that has my attention. So Stonewall down towards the Blanco area, hail threat and some broad rotation in that storm that we continue to watch. Not a tornado threat with the storm coming into southeastern Travis. So then, look, you can see there, updating the warning again, still the considerable tag with it. Okay, I'm going to go into my email real quick. I'd imagine we got an update for the warning. So they're decreasing the hail size, good news, with the warning, which is coming into southeast Travis and Bastrop County. All right, let me punch up my social media and email and everything, and we'll see what kind of hail photos that we have sent in. But Stonewall, Blanco, Johnson City area, y'all stay hunkered down here. It's a pretty mean storm which is coming in. All right, we're gonna put this in router 2. Wow, so a few things. Number one, we've got this from Adrian Gutierrez. So you can see the Mamatis, the dramatic skies there over Harris Branch. So that was a little while ago. So that was the situation with the Mamatis. Then I also have a couple hail photos. So this is from David Alford, amazing future meteorologist. And this is from the Uland area. You can see there that, yeah, looks like quarter to golf ball size type hail. So that is the situation with what came through the Uland area. Here's another version of that. Said his aunt took those photos. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go eat some dinner real quick. Take a quick breather. We just got right into this after our 6 o'clock newscast. Things kind of ramped up. The most concerning thing to me right now is this storm out around Stonewall. It's got a considerable tag and a tornado possible tag with it. And before I change, we'll redo our routers here too. All right, perfect. It has a tornado possible tag. It has a considerable tag to it. Let's see what the velocity is doing. Yeah, I mean, it's broad, but there's just a couple places where it's trying to spin. Shear rate has come down maybe a little bit. It looked a little, yeah, for a second there, it had that look like, hey, is this going to try and go? Looks like it's come down a little bit more. Hail core though, well, all right, and there's our system saying, hey, we got some rotation. All right, I'll stay on with you here for a second. Now that we've got this Stonewall, let's stay hunkered down here. This rotational signature, that's just our system saying, hey, let's watch this thing. All right, so that's the situation there in Stonewall and Gillespie County and in Blanco County. Let's back out. Let's go out here. So this storm is trending in the weaker direction. So this one's doing the opposite. This is what moved through Mustang Ridge. Now Elroy Road, Sunchase Parkway, Highway 71E, Garfield, Del Valle, out around Lakota, and heading up towards Weberville and the Colorado River. This does not look like it's producing the same type of, yeah, I mean, look, the hail core has gone completely away for right now. So if that trend continues, I would imagine they will drop that severe thunderstorm warning earlier. For the time being, though, it's a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30, but that's weakened considerably. So I would say at this very moment that storm is no longer severe. So this is the biggest thing in town right now. Is this storm out around LBJ Ranch and Stonewall, mean storm, considerable tag, tornado possible tag. It's got a big hail core with it of quarter to golf ball size hail, and as our system is showing there, it's got some signs where it's tried to broadly rotate here in this kind of general vicinity around High and around Stonewall. So we're going to continue to watch that closely. Just to show you the shear track, one final thing to show you. This shows the path of the rotation. So again, guys, it'll take a second, but you can just see. So there's the corridor where this thing has been spinning, coming down on the east side of Stonewall. So that at times, like right around here, a little more intense around here. But once we start getting into orange, into maroon, that's when you start to say, all right, guys, this is ramping up a little bit. So that's not where we're at right now, but it's obviously something that we'll need to continue to watch very closely for you guys. All right, so I'm going to get you back to just the radar loop here for a moment. I'm going to get some food real quick just in case we get a tornado warning. We've got to talk for an hour. We'll just get get squared away, and I'm going to leave the stream up, guys, and then we'll come back in and we'll do some forecast updates because, as we mentioned, there's another chance for additional strong storms overnight tonight, especially over the northern I-35 corridor and across the hill country. We could have some more stormy weather. So we'll be back in just a little bit, and we will keep you guys updated. Y'all stay tuned. All right, hello everybody. KVUE Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you. Just took a little bit of a breather there, but want to hop back on and give you guys a heads up. This is a tremendous storm moving through the Stonewall area, LBJ Ranch, these southeastern sections of Gillespie County. Then this is going to clip through far western sections of Blanco County. You can see they have just updated this warning. So they have not added a tag to it. I would imagine they probably mean to do that as they trim through this. This is a storm that really has produced some sizable hail. At one point, this was upwards of golf ball size hail as it approached the Stonewall area. This is the same one, by the way, that we were watching for some of that broad rotation earlier. No longer seeing that, but as of right now, we'll pause it. Looks like the biggest hail that could be up to about golf ball size, 1.5 inches in diameter, is over South Ranch Road 1623, Nolan Road, Hershey Ranch Road. Again, mostly over South Ranch Road 1623. So in the Albert area, the Stonewall area, the LBJ Ranch area, it crossed over 290 in the Pedernales River. So it's now going down into far southern sections of Gillespie County. And it's going to get down into a more rural section of the county, but Schuman Road, Schuman Lake Road, Forge Lane, these areas over southern Gillespie County. Heads up, big time hailstorm is heading towards you. I was just looking at the hail tracks on this. Let me show you. So this is not the current hail. This is the path of the hail. This thing, look at it. It initially ramped up a while ago out here in the Willow City area. Then it pulsed down for a second. Then it really ramped up here just as it moved over Ranch Road 1 and the Pedernales River and Highway 290. And at its peak, I mean, hen egg size hail. We're looking at golf ball size to hen egg size hail. That was really tremendous stuff. Hopefully this kind of starts to weaken down a little bit, and it looks like it is slightly, but still this is at least quarter size hail in the general vicinity of Albert. Again, guys, this is the same storm that was rotating. So I showed you the hail path. Here's the shear path. Yeah, for a period of time, I'll tell you, that thing ramped up. I was like, it might be showtime for this thing to try to produce a tornado. Thankfully, it did not, and the shear now is much weaker and is not an imminent concern for a tornado. So that's the only big storm that we have right now. What's kind of amazing, though, so from the core of the storm into the Northwest Austin Metro, it's like 35, 40 miles, but the lightning is crawling through the big thunderstorm anvil. So here's the RadSat. So you can see this big storm went up, and the thunderstorm anvil now is stretching all the way into the Austin Metro. So this whole thing is the thunderstorm anvil associated with that storm, and it's producing lightning strikes. Look at that, even in parts of Travis County. That's how intense this storm has been, producing over 500 lightning strikes in a 15-minute span. Of course, that's a good indicator of how strong the updraft is, how strong the storm is. So that has produced some hail even into parts of the Austin Metro, just on the underside of that thunderstorm anvil. And that's the same way that we get these mammatus clouds that develop. A lot of folks have been sending in pictures of that. So you have the big thunderstorm anvil, and even if you're under that, so maybe you're not getting the storm itself, you're not getting the rain, but this big thunderstorm, that's a bunch of rising air. At some point, you have pockets of sinking air. So those little bubble-shaped clouds, those are little pockets of sinking air. So that's what we call mammatus clouds. Are we done with storms after this one? I don't think so. Look what is coming in from the northwest, increasing line of storms. So this is what we talked about with that chance for additional storms overnight, and it looks like that is that is going to come true here. So these storms actually appear to be intensifying a little bit. I'm not saying it'll be a solid line of severe storms, but I think that these are on track to move into our area overnight tonight. These storms, wait for the most recent frame, these storms are about 90 miles away, and they're moving at 30 miles per hour. So I think by 11 o'clock, midnight, these are starting to move in, and through the early overnight hours, they'll continue to move in. We did get an update from the Storm Prediction Center from the Storm Outlook. So this is our updated Thursday night storm outlook. A level 2 goes into like San Sabin, McCulloch counties northwest of our KVUE area, but Is that thunder that I'm hearing here? I think I just heard thunder here at K-View from that thunderstorm Anvil. That's pretty amazing. Obviously, we don't have heavy rain and storms in the metro, but we're being impacted by this very intense storm off in the distance. Here's the tornado risk. Not a huge tornado threat, as we mentioned. We'll keep an eye on things, but primarily it's a wind and a hail risk that we'll be monitoring. So before I get you back to the radar loop, I want to show you the latest data that I've been looking at, and then here in about an hour, we're going to have our full newscast at 10 o'clock, but this looks pretty good. So it's picking up on those storms over Gillespie and Blanco, which will be moving out. We'll get a little bit of a break, and then, yeah, midnight into 1 a.m., here comes round 2 of storms, especially as these first move in over the northern hill country. These could be strong to severe. And then, we'll see how close these ones get to the metro. I think it's possible this could be more of a hill country event too, but yeah, that's bringing in another round of storms tonight. And then by tomorrow, this is all overnight, so then by tomorrow morning, rain will be gone. So that's the high-res model. Here's our graph model, which is also bringing in this same cluster of storms, but this time does get some of that heavier rain closer to the Austin metro. This might be a good way to visualize it. We'll go into our... let me find our rainfall accumulation here from the forecast maps. These are the extended models, so this is not going to be the most up-to-date stuff, but showing especially across the hill country that potential for more rain tonight. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So here's the future rainfall off the latest hourly HRRR. Give this a moment to load in. Yeah, so it's kind of grazing the Austin metro, but bring in some more pockets of locally heavy rain over parts of the hill country. So it'll be a low-end severe threat, more hail and strong winds, and then also maybe some locally heavy rain and a minor flood threat overnight. Of course, we know we need the rain. But there are some areas that have already had heavy rain from this first round of pop-up activity. In fact, I'll show you the radar estimated totals, especially here over Llano County. Look, if we get another big storm to come into Llano County, I can't rule out, a flash flood warning or at least a flood advisory. Wow. So this, I just saw tremendous lightning in Austin. Again, this is from that distant storm where we are getting lightning in town from the crawling lightning bolts through the thunderstorm Anvil. All right, let's do, here, I'll leave in boxes because I think you're going to see this here in a moment. But as I do that, we'll just punch up some of these numbers. Wouldn't take much more rain to start getting back into flooding issues here over sections of Llano County. Yeah, there's already been 3 to 4 inches plus of rain that has fallen, with some more on the way, it looks like, for tonight. So that's the situation. I just want to hold on a second longer. Yeah, let's look at the lightning strikes. So here we're getting lightning strikes. See this one out around Bee Cave. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Properties. I don't know if I can, but so there's a lightning strike here in Bee Cave. Yeah, all this green, like this is just the thunderstorm Anvil. Yeah, here's that strike I was looking for. So this is probably what we heard here. Look at this. God, these things get so small. Yeah, that's a lightning strike there over, is that Mopac? Yeah, over Mopac. Yeah, so that's what we heard here at the TV station a moment ago. That's pretty amazing. The storm itself is obviously in Gillespie County and Blanco County. Let's see, they've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings associated with it now. Interesting. I guess they've just broadened it out a little bit more. Then it's going to fuse with this other storm coming in from the Comfort area. And it's, yeah, look, these hail cores, they pulse up in pulse down. This thing is still throwing down some hail here over southeastern Gillespie County. But the good news is this is moving south. So here momentarily in the next 5 to 15 minutes, this is going to get out of our KVUE area. Right now, though, it's over Schumann Drive, Forge Lane, so those same Schumann Road, excuse me. So those same areas that I was mentioning earlier where it was heading, it has in fact headed there. Ranch Road 1888. There you go. Did you see that in the sky cameras? That is lightning in the Austin Metro, not from stormy weather that we have, but from this storm, which is out over the hill country. This is why you just got to love weather here in Central Texas. It does crazy things sometimes. So our system is still estimating golf ball size hail there on the south side of Stonewall. So y'all stay hunkered down for a little while longer. This is also going to graze the Blanco County line, but this is moving away out of our KVUE area. In town in Blanco and currently in Johnson City are getting grazed by some rain. I think the big hail is going to miss you, though, unless something changes. All right, so that's the deal right now. We'll get some more storms in here later on tonight. Okay, so here we go. Big line of storms. This is round 2 for us, which is going to come in tonight. So let's actually, before I let you go, I've only said that 100 more times. Let's see what the speed is on this. So there, big severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorms located over Talpa, moving southeast at 30. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. So let's do this. Let's give ourselves plenty of runway here. Pause it. So here is what we're going to try and do with the timing. All right. So we'll do about like this. So this, oh my gosh. I'm not saying all of these areas will be impacted by storms, but here's when some of this could be arriving into parts of our hill country areas. So into Mason after 11 o'clock, into Llano between 11:30 and midnight, and into Burnett around 12:15 a.m. If these storms hold together, and it looks like they will, at least in some sort of weakening capacity. So we'll get some more storms coming in here later on tonight, and that's going to be another threat for wind and hail. And then if these storms slow down over some areas that are already saturated, I could see a flood risk developing across the hill country too. Again, guys, we need rain. We're thankful for rain, but just want to give you a heads up. So that's what we'll be tracking for you tonight. All right, I'm going to take another break. Y'all stay hunkered down in Gillespie and Blanco counties. Full newscast is coming up at about 10 o'clock. What we might do is actually in this stream and start a new one after our newscast. I'll get with the digital folks. We'll figure out what we want to do there. But just be aware, some more storms are coming in later on tonight. All right, y'all have a good night. We will talk to you all in a little bit.